One of the major events that happened during the Second World War was the Holocaust. Along with the Holocaust survivors who lived to tell the stories, the experiences, and the complicity. There was also Winston Churchill, who played a huge role in Europe by leading the armies. There was also starvation and genocide, and how the last stages played out. No one seems to talk about all the viewpoints of all the bystanders of the Second World War, other than our understanding of how the Jewish people felt during the Holocaust. How did the people that had to watch that play out feel? Some parts of the Holocaust were very underrated, including the women and the complicity they had to go through. Many people at the time wrote in journals. They've truly been invisible to their active participation and implication in the world during the war and genocide, but also as sufferers of crimes committed against them, such as rape victims, refugees, expellees, or camp inmates. Many texts that were analyzed included narratives by German army auxiliaries, military nurses, refugees, and rape victims, end quote. If the victim's suffering is omitted or downplayed, the stories perpetrate the silence and trauma associated with the crime of rape, end quote. This was one of the things addressed in these texts, referring to the wartime rape. Winston Churchill offered some of the most insightful interpretations of what happened to the peace in Europe. Adolf Hitler's war erupted into something much more than thought to be. Hitler's speeches involved so much aggressive intent that Churchill stood up and told everybody how he felt about it and warned them. He recommended that the democracies of Europe come back together and make peace. Once they collaborated again, Churchill denounced the Munich Agreement in one of his speeches. The Munich Agreement abandoned the broken Czechoslovakia to Hitler's prison empires, gave the Nazi tyrant a victory without having to fight, and strengthened Germany's power to launch wars of conquest. Churchill later talked about the failure of the world's democracies to take a stand for the cause of freedom and to prevent a coming of a second Armageddon. After the First World War, Germany had a large downfall that left Britain's leaders to decide how to treat Germany from now on. Germany went through a large number of lost lives, wartime provision, and the battlefield defeats brought a revolution. With the end of the war, Churchill wanted to reinvent democratic political life. He just wanted to bring peace to Europe and the Middle East. He had the opposite opinion of most people about getting revenge on Germany and wanting to make peace. Churchill felt that Europe's peace would be destroyed if Germany was left unhappy. One major quote that goes along with this is to make peace with the German people and secure them in fair opportunity after they have made amends and given it evidence of new spirit by putting themselves right with the world by rendering it a good service. In 1933, the Nazis' seizure of power destroyed one of the main pillars for hoping for peace in Europe. Churchill recognized the power that Germany had, and the increased threat changed the whole foreign policy. The policy that was formed for Churchill wanting to appease Germany during the 1920s did not matter during the 1930s. Churchill became the prime minister and was faced with a huge choice. Instead of facing Hitler in face of defeat, he took a heroic stand. This led Britain's public to stand behind him and continue to fight. Churchill's actions, along with many other people associated with Britain at this time, showed a powerful country does not walk away from another like-minded country. Even before the Second World War, genocide was legal. The USSR's genocide activity against the Polish nation was going on from the start. For example, during the Polish operation from 1937 to 1938, they killed about 85,000 Polish people. The citizens of the USSR did not acknowledge it because that would mean death for them. As Germany and the USSR started World War II, millions of Polish citizens found themselves under two invaders. No one seems to talk about the viewpoints of all the bystanders during the Second World War, other than our understanding of how Jewish people felt during the Holocaust. How did the people that had to watch that play feel? We learned how hard it was for them to see that firsthand, but not to live it. Along with that, Winston Churchill played a huge role in this war. He worked for many years to bring peace to Europe and away from all the negativity from Germany. He warned people about Hitler and showed people how Hitler's speeches had much more aggressive intent than anyone had realized. He showed the people of Europe that a powerful country cannot walk away from a country with the same power. Genocide happened in places other than the concentration camps of the Holocaust. It was legal in the USSR. They had used genocide activity against the Polish, which was called the Polish Operation. The USSR had killed about 85,000 people, yet they were too scared to say a word. With Germany and the USSR starting the Second World War, they had two powerful countries overwatching them.